Hello everyone and welcome back to the Brightworks in another match of Beyond All Reason, where today we're taking a look at a game that's going to be a little bit different than what we normally cover that was played here on Forge. Now I sought out this replay after hearing some news that a brand new mod, or I should say a mod that's been in development for a while but has recently been adjusted, been tuned, and finally delivered to us, is now out and available. It's the T3 Geothermals mod, which spices up that epic late game. And apparently there was a pretty epic game played here on Forge today that I was dying to have a look at. So without further ado, we'll jump on into this game. It is going to be a 6 versus 6 that was played right here between two top-notch teams that are going to be vying for control over this slightly modded out battlefield. Forge, always an explosive map to watch, so this ought to be a good one. 6v6 is also super interesting because it kind of perfectly lines up with how many lanes there are. You basically have 4 lanes in the middle, and then 2 big wide open areas in the backline here. So I'm a little bit surprised to see the blue team hasn't gone for another player right here. This is typically the standard spot right here where a random guy would be. Instead, playing on the high ground right here, normally we would see a commander down on the low ground. They would contest this northern bridge over here, and then the southern bridge would be contested by, it looks like a Sargeras 77, gonna be playing in Legion green. But I'm getting carried away here. Jamaica's going to be our blue team leader, clocking in at 58 open skill, and going to be playing on the southern side here in Cortex Blue. Now lined up directly against them here on the other side in red for core, it's going to be Sleetox. Sleetox the red, going for a whole bunch of res bots, no doubt, to try and jumpstart that economy, get a ton of energy rolling into the bank so that we can afford a super early geothermal. It's a very, very popular strategy on this map because, of course, those geothermals are all over the place, and especially in this backline where you do have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 geothermals. It can be enough energy just reclaiming all these metal extractor, or these Duracell crystals in order to basically fund an entire geothermal all on its own. We're actually overflowing a bunch of energy with the reclaim right here. Not the end of the world, there's plenty of crystals to go around, but it does mean that this wheelie might have a shot at actually going in and maybe sniping 1 or 2 of these res bots. We'll see. T3 geothermal. So there's been a discussion, right? The idea is basically take geothermals and make them viable in the late game, because the T2 geothermals are great. The advanced geothermal is obviously stupid efficient, as it always has been. But there's a little bit of this disconnect, right, between what T3 and T2 can do, and there's not really a comparative. There's no T3 comparison for geothermals. It's basically just you have the T2, and sometimes the Cerberus is still useful, but most of the time it's basically not. Maybe the T3 will change that. We'll get a good look at him here today, I suspect. A couple of Alaris now making their way across here. The fast assault tank for Legion. They fire a burst projectile, so it's a plasma shot that does a bunch of damage, at least relative to their weight class. Ooh, and we're not going to snipe this con? Oh, yikes. Sargeras definitely should have been trying to snipe that con right there. I do believe we saw it for a second or so. Resbots should also be a primary target right here. Ooh, these Alaris could get so much value right now. Geothermal starts up right here. Red commander going to be, yeah, there we go. Finally targeting down the, or rather targeted down by these Alaris. 2 of those res bots go down, and this hurts a lot, actually, for Sleetox. So I was hoping to boost out this Geo super quick, and was nicely countered right here by Sargeras. Wonderful stuff. Okay. Loads of aggression coming out here. I absolutely love the plays being made right now. Resbots will get back to work. They're going to start eating up those crystals once more, and the grunts will fend off all the rest of these Alaris. We need desperately to get this geothermal up and running. Once one of these is up and running, the rest of them are super easy to build. Once you have all of them up and running, super easy to expand forward on the front line. Ooh, a little commander trade on the southern side, meanwhile. Looks like KK357 going up against Jamaica's here. Going to trade out the commanders while the red team is trying to get that greedy eco up and running. Tank commander and the orange commander both spawning on the southern side, and I guess going to be fighting through here. Means the orange comm isn't actually fighting that southern lane. We're going to be moving forces towards the northern side here, where it looks like hot pink has gone for a little bit more of a lax strategy. We definitely need to get in there and start playing this game a little more aggressively, getting out there, trying to grab these geos, trying to grab these 4.0 metal extractors. It's bizarre to me to see that these haven't been claimed yet. We should have absolutely sent a constructor to grab these mexes immediately. 4, 8, 12, 16 metal per second. Basically enough for T2 right off the rip. Resbot does have a special command. It's called Restore. You use this in a certain area on the map and it will bring it all back to the appropriate height. We're a little bit hesitant to reclaim right here for fear of overflowing. Yeah, blue commander not ready to spend all the metal here. There we go. Gets the M storage up and running so we can start reclaiming once again. Might want to restore those so we don't lose the resbot. Either way, though, LLTs and thugs and whatnot, not necessarily the biggest pushing force here. We do have a whole bunch of construction vehicles also building up a HLT on the southern side. You know what I mean? If you're going to be going up against bots, it does kind of make sense. The HLT covers a huge area, and that is effectively what you pay for. Yeah. Resbot doing a great job, extracting tons of resource here from both of these corpses. The tank commander not denying any of that. One of the things you can do is move these thugs in. Move them to the edge of the lava and target fire down on the ground on these corpses. You can try and blast them to pieces to deny those corpses if you needed to. Blue Commander having a field day here. Jamaica's going to be running away with that metal income. Obviously going to be going into T2 as quick as possible, but a couple more geothermals never hurt. There we go. Geothermal's going to be coming underway right here. Oh, we do have some extra units enabled too. We have the Deadeye, the heavy blaster bot, also in the laboratory. Super cool stuff. Basically a sharpshooter, but for Cortex. One of those units that's very, very, in my eyes, very close to being in the base game. Like, just a couple of balance patches away from seeing this in the base game would be pretty epic. T2 Lab started up right here for Jamaica's nice and early, with double commanders on the front, as well as these 4.0 metal extractors and 2 geothermals. More than enough economy in order to go for this. In fact, I'd like to see another geothermal. I think one more geothermal is probably best. Get up and over that 1,000 energy per second mark so you can start cloaking the commander. Oh, we have some ancient Karkinos coming out here too, the archaic Karkinos, with their little heat ray spear and their, their little shield they duck their head to. Oh, these things are so adorable. Look at them go. Yeah, their little riot cannon is pretty deadly too. Well, it doesn't do a ton of damage, but it does a huge amount of impulse, so it can stop big swarms of units in their tracks. That's kind of their bread and butter. They're much more of an anti-swarm unit than the current present-day Karkinos, which does quite a bit better at single target. Their little photon lance is pretty good, though. It has a lot of range, and so it can kind of poke away at a bunch of these targets really, really nicely. It doesn't do a ton of damage at range, but obviously you don't need to. You just need to do enough. T2 Lab now spamming out Sheldon right here. We have a couple of thugs moving in. I think we need like 2 or 3 fiends just to try and mop this up real quickly here. Yeah, there we go. Okay, we do eventually switch over to fiends. The Sheldon are quite nice, and obviously the more of those that you build up over time, the better, but the fiends we kind of need as like an instant response. There they go, firing away here, quite literally. A little self-D, okay. Self-D right there to blow up one of those. The next fiend out of the lab will be able to take care of the other 2, I believe. A little bit of a pause right there as well, it would seem. Okay. And the blue base is secure. Jammer bot will be repaired. Sent back out on its mission. Radar bot also built up here, and now we're comfortably able to start building up more and more. Couple of Sheldon moving towards the front line, going to be more than enough to take care of all this. Meanwhile, these HLTs also blasting away at a bunch of these rocket bots, which is super cool. The HLT in the back apparently not able to hit those. But these Wardens on the front are doing a fantastic job. A little bit of a repair going on here. Resbot's trying the very best. We need a radar tower up on front here. You want to put it basically exactly right behind the HLT. If you put it right here, the HLT has full vision out to its maximum range. Makes it quite good. Sheldon also firing away into the distance. Okay, we are properly scaling up to a T2 here. Pink Commander has taken over the front line. We are thinking about moving out here, as we do have a ton of medium tanks built up. More than enough, I feel like, to go for a little bit of a push. Those Janus hurt, but only once. As long as we're even decently spread out, those Janus shouldn't be a huge problem. Oh, yeah, we're going to back off here. I think you commit. This is a misread for sure by Duck Power, who wasn't really sure whether the Cyan Commander actually had the space for it. Just realized our game speed was turned down, lower than normal. I was wondering why these units were moving so slowly. Centurion also mixed in here, going up against these Dicarion. Dicarion spam super viable on this map, of course, with all the metal that you have, and as long as you have enough geothermal energy as well, Dicarion spam can be brutal to play against here. Not to mention these overcharge mexes we are going for. Producing 8 metal per second is fantastic. Yeah, just pure Dicarion spam. What you want to go for is like 10 Dicarion and then make a transition into a bot lab so you can resurrect the ones that go down, and then also repair the ones that are still up and running. You just peel those back and repair them back up to full HP. But you can see even just a handful of Dicarion that are available right here are already ripping through the forces in yellow. Mending. Best enchantment in the game. Holding their own. Gypsy Danger. Absolutely one of my favorite mecha. Like, in all of mechadom, I think there's only a handful that really are on the same level as Gypsy Danger. I mean, the beauty is in the simplicity. It's just a big guy with rockets in the elbows and a sword on the wrist. It's kind of everything you could hope for. It's, you know, not trying to be something crazy, not trying to be overcomplicated. Just a big robot doing big robot things. I can't help but feel like this is a little bit of an overinvestment here with the second agitator, though. The first one, kind of nice for contesting all this and is blasting way out into the range. The rest of this, though, is a little bit suspect. A little bit questionable. Now, for those of you that might not be familiar, Random Guy is actually the mod maker, developer of the T3 geothermals. You might also recognize the name from the very, very popular spaceships mod, the space race? I've been calling it space race. I don't know if that's actually the name. Space expansion, orbital expansion, I think that's the name. The orbital expansion units, you might also recognize Random Guy Jr. as also the developer of that mod, which I absolutely adore. If you'd like to check out some gameplay of that, by the way, feel free to go have a look over on the live stream. That's where we play that most usually. Kind of difficult to find a lobby to play it in normally because it is about 8 tweak defs and tweak units combined. Very, very difficult to set up in a lobby, but also extremely rewarding. It changes the dynamics of space play quite a lot. Well, it invents the dynamic of space play. It changes airplay, I guess is what I should say. Bunch of maces moving in, but the exact same story here is the fiends come out. They're going to be able to burn these down pretty quickly here. The maces don't have that much HP, and a little self-D on those fiends would go a long way. It might not really even be necessary, though. Yeah. Maces are melting down. That's going to be a nice little pile of slag to eat back up and fund into the economy here, and we should see something special in the geothermals. Rocket artillery geo with AA. So 7,400 metal, and apparently it fires rockets, according to this. I've got no idea. I haven't seen any of these before, but I assume that it ended up being pretty epic. Because I was told this was a rather epic game. We have some advanced geothermals up and running. Of course, super risky to have all these right next to each other. It's an instant chain reaction. Basically, an instant GG to both of these two commanders if they lose the entire bases like this. Interesting to see. We're not going for Cerberus at all, actually. This would be the Cerberus, 3,100. This would be the Barrage, 7,400, so quite a bit more expensive. Yellow Commander goes down, by the way. That's the power of those dicarion. Taking down the Commander, forcing the Yellow Commander back, making it super, super uncomfortable to push. T2 now coming out on the laboratory. We have the Prometheus, heavy assault heat ray tanks rolling out of the lab. I think a couple of these Medusa would be... Where are they? There they are. Medusa, I think would probably be well worth it. Medusa received a huge inadvertent buff. Their missiles can now retarget. What that means is that effectively they're much, much better against swarms of units. Not direct swarms, not tick or pawn swarms, but things like big balls of medium or heavy tanks. Okay, Sergera's going in to D-gun down the corpse right there. Not bad. Are we going to lose it to the riot tank? Oh no. 5% HP remaining there on the green commander. Almost losing it to the riot tank is brutal. Bulwark started up here on the front line. Don't think that's going to happen. The thugs are pushing in. Trying to, anyways. We do have one of these amputator area control cluster artillery being set up here. Tank commander escalating to T2. As we do have some Sheldon on the field. Cerberus cannon also set up right here. Effectively wins this entire low ground campaign. Yeah, look how far this thing can reach out, and the damage it does is unparalleled. And this is kind of why I was excited by this mod. The Cerberus has long dominated as basically the most efficient T2 unit, or T2 geothermal, because of the amount of damage it does, and because if it's not doing damage, it still produces energy. It is far and away one of the best T2 investments you can make, especially in certain maps like this one where you have this long, way open choke point that the Cerberus can dominate. Maybe T3 upsets that balance a little bit, changes things up ever so slightly. Prometheus making their way through, killing that T2 constructor. We're slacking on the job here a little bit, though, as Sergeris does have the opportunity to kill at least the yellow commander. We're going to get a geothermal. We're probably going to get a handful of constructors here as well. Yep, there we go. Very nicely done. Constructors in a little bit of trouble, too. Down they go. The geothermal is going to pop here as well. What do we have for an answer for these tanks? Well, the T3 lab is up and running. There's plenty of T3 options there. Lots and lots of them, actually. Yeah, we're just going to go for the age-old classic, the D-gun. Sending out great balls of fire. That D-gun cleaves apart those Prometheus tanks, and they will fall. Prometheus are obviously quite good against Swarm. They do a little bit of AoE and a bunch of burst. It's almost, I mean, it's single target damage. It's also AoE damage. They're very good, is what I'm trying to say. Taking down quite a few of those fiends before they were able to eventually overwhelm that tank. And I'm keeping my eyes peeled because I do want to see one of these geothermals. He bombed the geothermal that didn't explode. He bombed the geothermal that wasn't an advanced geothermal, and so the bombing run was a failure. I was wondering where those bombers went. Turns out they went nowhere. Okay. AGO will replace the one that was destroyed, so that's quite nice, of course. Might mean that maybe the blue team is looking into increasing their aerial defenses here. No air player for the blue team is practically suicide on this map. This map almost always ends when one player builds enough air to penetrate the defenses of the caldera in the middle. Flying right overhead and dropping those T3 or T2 bombs on top of this. We are going for an APHIS here, but not the advanced geothermals. Are we even going to get to see them? I don't know. One of the other things that was introduced are T3 walls. So you can see there's this wall here, the Tyrant, which is 2,000 metal, 50,000 energy for an advanced memory alloy fortification, which can regenerate. Apparently can regenerate its health up to 200 health per second, which is fantastic. Makes it super, super tanky, super durable. Is effectively meant to stop T3 units, but of course at 2,000 bucks a pop, extremely expensive. Apparently Armada's comes with a built-in EMP beam. If we have a Armada T2 con, I'll show that off for a second. Legion also gets one of their own, and I think it has drones that I think serve as anti-air, if I'm not mistaken. We'll have to look for a T2. There it is. Let's have a quick look. Wait, I selected the wrong thing. Oh no, that's a T2 core. Where's our T2 Legion? Oh, there it is. Okay. That's not it. It must be this Dragon's Constitution. I thought, no, that's the regular one. I'm not seeing the T3 wall. Maybe that came later. Maybe that came just as soon as this game was played or after this game was played. Not entirely sure, but apparently theirs has little drones that go alongside it. And then, yeah, the Armada one apparently has a little EMP beam that it can fire. Continuous EMP beam, much like the Thor right here. And it can paralyze quite a few units, keep them paralyzed, allow your static defenses or units or whatnot to deal with them. Mass Shiva, not a bad idea. Are we really? We're really sleeping on these T3 geothermals. The whole point of this lobby, as I understood it anyways, APHIS nearly complete here for the blue commander. We're looking to step up this economy by another 3,000 energy. Surprising considering we're basically leaking at this point. We need some sort of a scaling, I suppose. Sharpshooters on the low ground here. Super difficult. Looks like the red team did lose a player. It looks like the orange commander tapped out. Sharpshooters are wonderful on this map because it's so flat and open. They can have a huge effect. Cerberus cannon flying out into the distance. We have these drone pads constantly sending out drones as well to try and just harass things, provide a little bit of vision, all that good stuff. Look at the Cerberus go, though. I mean, just firing off into the distance. Every single one of its shots chips away at these Shivas pretty nicely. Looked like about 8% on a direct hit. Tactical missile launcher is away. Are we just targeting this big cluster right here? Yep. Boom goes all those static defenses. Most of it all falls immediately. We do have one amputator and a couple of these hives that still stay up and running, but most of that has fallen almost right away from a single blast from this tactical nuke missile launcher. Tactical, I guess it's not a nuke, is it? Just a tactical missile launcher. Karganeth are typically quite a bit better for this sort of a thing. Sharpshooters managing to bring down the green commander. Both teams down to just 4. Love these sharpshooters right here, especially with the rovers out in front to provide a little bit of vision. Obviously those fiends are quite dangerous, but we do have the welders coming out here now. Starlights as well mixed in. Going to be fantastic, and those tanks, they don't stand a chance. Every time those sharpshooters click their guns, something dies. How was that targeting that? Oh, that must be the... Ah, there it is. Barrage, rocket artillery geo with AA. Okay, I see. So it fires a barrage up into the stratosphere and down onto targets below. Does it track? Oh, it does track. Okay. Does it? Oh, I can't tell if it tracks or not. It looks like it does. Wow, okay, I see. So this thing fires effectively gigantic AA missiles up into the stratosphere, and they come raining down on top of the enemy right here. That's wonderful. Okay. Yep, that's pretty cool. Well, I am glad we got to see this. I wondered what we were going to see. I was a little bit concerned we were not going to see one. Look how much damage that thing does. Wow. That is huge. I mean, obviously it's a geothermal, right? So it's not like you can put these everywhere. This just works out wonderfully in this particular spot. It would work great over here as well. I think it's probably better than a Cerberus. I mean, I have to imagine it is. It's more accurate. I feel like it must do more damage, too. If it's not more, then it's definitely close. Starlight's popping over here as well. Looks like it doesn't retarget the missiles, but it does seem to... They seem to fire pretty quickly, so they can kind of... Now they do definitely retarget. Either way, it seems to be doing a great job. 7% every time this hits a Karganeth right there. 6 to 7%. Very nice, I know. Karganeth going down. Yeah, I'll give this thing credit where credit is well due. It is blasting through these T3 units really nicely. It's kind of a very consistent, for Cortex, who doesn't have very much consistent damage dealing, it is a relatively consistent platform. I will point out, though, these Karganeth are getting dangerously close to this base here. Geothermal is an obvious target. Are we going to take the guaranteed damage? I think we must. Yep. Boom goes the A-Geo. Doesn't quite kill all these Karganeth here, though, so they can continue doing damage. We do have the Bastion coming up and running here. That Cerberus thing, Barrage, still firing away. You know what? That's so much range. These Karganeth didn't manage to kill the base. Wow. Okay. Legathemos, radar jammer, geo, railgun, and assist and repair drone platform. Wow. It's a mouthful. It's a mouthful. So apparently, so this is the Cortex T3. Sorry, the Legion T3. It has railgun drones as well as build power drones, basically. They fly around and help you build buildings. Very, very interesting. But again, 7,000 metals for that, so super, super expensive. Need to get these metal extractors back up and running. Does this have an energy cost of fire? Oh, it does produce 2,200 energy. Okay. So no energy cost of fire, just produces a ton of energy. That's very, very nice. Super convenient. Oh, there we go. Yeah, we have upgraded to the T3 here. Okay. Now we have a barrage on both sides firing into the distance. And much to the same vein that the Cerberus dominated this area, it looks like the barrage kind of has similar area. Not sure exactly if it's the same. It looks close, though. Grunt spam to try and overwhelm the defenses over here. There's that barrage hitting hard. The sheer consistency of those missiles is worth a lot. Again, the Cortex commanders who don't normally have a lot of consistent weapons. You think of Armada, you think of sharpshooters and rattlesnake, or not rattlesnakes, what are they called? The Gatling boys. Razorbacks, can't believe I forgot that. Razorbacks, sharpshooters, starlights, all these things that have super consistent damage, right? You give them a target and a vision of it, they're going to connect with the target. Whereas, for instance, like a Shiva, fires that plasma projectile, but there's good chance that it misses or doesn't connect all the way. Cortex doesn't have a lot of direct fire weapons like that, so to have one that can deliver super consistent high damage, it changes the way the Cortex feels holding this front line for sure. Like, you now know that you can kill these T3 relatively easily. Heavy bombers coming out. Now it says there's anti-air in this too. Can this hit air? I don't know. It doesn't seem to. At least I didn't notice any air. The anti-air here from green is fantastic, though. Okay, AGO's pop. That's, you know, better that than nothing. Oh, here we go. Here's those. Oh, there we go. Okay, yeah, so see, there's the little assist repair drone flying around over here. Apparently, these drones as well are upgraded from their heat rays to actual proper laser guns. What is the build radius of this thing? I don't know what the effective build radius of this is. But one of the important things is that it loses its anti-nuke. So that's really important to remember. It looks like they're saying it handled all the air. I don't think it did. I think it was almost entirely all of these Lupara, as well as the thousands of anti-air missiles coming out of these Jaguar, as well as tons and tons of the anti-air here. This Pluto minigun with 7 confirmed kills, I think, was basically all those heavy bombers. Missile spiders coming up and over the hill. One big missile spider, really, the threat. Demons will take care of it, though. They're so fast. Grunts are starting to leak through, though. Can we see some sort of siege unit here? We are Cortex. We could go for Tremor. We could go for Banisher. All that kind of stuff works out really, really nicely. The economies are almost entirely based around the metal extractors on this map, which is one of the weird, kind of interesting side effects of how valuable the mexes are. Basically, every metal extractor is worth more than any amount of economy, right? 4, 8, 12, 16 metal per second coming out of every one of these mexes. That's like a third of the metal production of a single APHIS, except for, you know, $700 or something like that. Man, those demons have got to feel... Oh, the friendly fire! Oh no! Grunt's not spreading the slightest. Oh man, all the grunts go down. Yikes. KK357 also trying to scale the economy in the back line. We've got an APHIS coming up, some E-converters, all that good stuff. But look at the barrages, man, just firing out into the distance. It's kind of beautiful, isn't it? It reminds me of the Golden Arches. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Please don't copyright me, McDonald's. I'd appreciate it. Going for mammoth spam here on the southern side. There's not really... Well, there is a lot of starlights being built up. Duck power. Certainly one to hoard units, not one to spend them. Are we ready to scale the... Oh. You know we are. Look at that. We've even got the T3 fusions up and running. Wow, okay. We're starting up the epic fusion reactor. 90,000 metals, 600 and... What is that? 550,000 energy for 30,000 energy worth of production. We've also got these epic E-converters, which produce... or they consume 6,000 energy into 120 metal per second. It's just stupid. We've got enough E-converters for all of our APHIS, and we've still got the epic converters. Consider that this is basically converts 2 APHIS worth of E into metal. Blue Commander also scaling that economy up to proper T3 economy. We've got one started over here too. Yep. Karganeth thinking about how to move around here. We also have a super Karganeth, the epic Karganeth, hanging out on the high ground here. 12,000 metal for that bad boy, and well worth the money. Far and away one of the best units in the game, bar none. If you're ever playing with epic units and you have the opportunity, the privilege of playing with a epic Karganeth, take it for sure. And the barrage being a high arc weapon is so cool too. It works out so well, especially on this map as well, just for the fact that it can hit these units hanging out up on the caldera here, the sort of middle section of the map. Oh, that's an APHIS going down, or AGO going down. I believe that was actually friendly fire. The grunts running into the AGO. Does this have a kill on it? Oh, it's got 69 kills. That is quite nice. Red Commander is leaking. Quite badly. Yeah, we really threw everything we had into going for this super APHIS, but that is 90,000 metal. Can you really afford not to put 90,000 metal on the field? I mean, at least pull the T3 back. Sleetox now jumped by a whole bunch of grunts. Down he goes. Bunch of HLTs and twin guards and whatnot coming up over here as well. Okay. We could go for quad guards. Those are quite good too. Epic Bulwark are quite nice. Mini Calamities are pretty good. Dragon's Rage are also very nice. They're a little wall that fires away. After speaking with Random Dude, the way that those T3 walls are anticipated to be used is basically what you would do with them is take them and use them kind of like a T3 deterrent. Because T3 can't crush them, nothing can. Basically what you would do is spread them out just enough that normal units can get by, but you would keep them clumped up enough that like big T3 units, behemoths, juggernauts, titans, all that can't squeeze by. Oh, sharpshooter getting melted here by the epic bastion. Epic bulwark, rather. Everybody upgrading to the barrages. After realizing how OP these are, everyone and their mother has upgraded to the barrages. Wonderful stuff. Did we finish that epic? Well, we are almost finished with it. Epic AFA's about 45% of the way through. We're getting there. The barrage is left, right, and center. I would love to see some of the other ones. We do get to see a paralyzer, which is pretty cool. We don't hardly ever get to see a paralyzer. One of those static defenses that deserves a lot more praise than I feel like it ever gets credit for. Saying the AA on the artillery looks a bit much, but I haven't seen it attack air once. What kind of artillery is it in? Or anti-air is it? Seeker rocket platform. So it must just fire at air. If that's the case. I feel like I haven't seen it target a single plane down. Maybe I missed it because it's so fast, but it doesn't seem like there's a lot of anti-air in it. I must be missing it. Every frontline right now wondering what on earth they can do about this, though. One of the issues about upgrading Pork, and this also is because we have the epic units enabled, so there's a lot of beefier, regular T2 static defenses. Basically meant to be tuned against raptors and scavengers. Is it becomes very difficult to break with anything but the strongest of units, so you really have to go into those most expensive units, that extra tier of units, the T3 epic units. Oh, here's one of the Geo ones. Look at that. It's the outpost. Okay. So I have to switch over to this view for this because look. So it has a giant jammer field, as you can see. It also has 100,000 energy storage. Oh, it's actually 100,000 metal storage as well. Wow. So it's 100,000 metal and energy storage. So you never have to worry about storages for the rest of your career. It produces 2,000 energy, of course, and it's completely cloaked. It's cloaked and radar jammed. So it's undetectable unless you smack your face into it. The pinnacle of our modern engineering. It does prevent it from being targeted though, which is super, super nice. Like a lot of these units, especially these barrages, which normally would target those down immediately, aren't going to target it nearly as badly. Now I hear that these things have quite brutal explosion radiuses. Yeah. Looks like you can self-destruct it for a pretty crazy explosion there. Catapults sneaking their way in here. Managed to take down the build power. That's quite nice. LRPC firing in the distance. Another another giant army of grunts is on its way. Will the catapult fire at them? No, it doesn't look like it. The grunt swarm. You know what? These grunts are providing a valuable intelligence here. Tons of spotting to kill all this. Just the barrages from both sides reach out to hit. Neither team really knowing how to push into these barrages. We do have an attempt here. The pawn launcher. 13,500 metal and 192,000 energy. It basically builds pawns slowly over time, and as it builds them, it charges up. And once it's at full charge, it can fire. bunch of medium mines set up over here. We also have a epic bulwark in case any crabs come crawling over the mountainside here. Red's still working on this epic aphis. Green has got theirs completely up and running here, though. My goodness. 500 energy, or 500 metal, rather, per second. We have loads of anti-nukes coming up here. Blue Commander also just starting a proper T3 aphis farm over on this side. Yeah, we've got the E-converters over here, and we're going to start the epic aphis over on this side. If we look at the explosion radius, it's half the map. It's well and away a third of the map here if you wanted to, if one of these explodes. Yeah, it's pretty good. That's pretty good. We'll go ahead and speed things up here, though. Neither team, it seems, quite sure how to push into these barrages. Anti-nuke's going to be used. Nicely done. Good proper memory. Keeping those anti-nukes up and alive. Guarding the bases here. The AGOs here are still so concerning to me, though. I get that we have air forces, we have the anti-air defenses, we have all this stuff. Supposedly these barrages can also hit air. Well, I'm skeptical. Can we see one over here? Oh no, this was the Armada player. Oh, look at that. Yeah, fighters going to sneak through. Oh, yeah, okay. Alright, I see. So they definitely, 100% definitely can hit air. It's just they use the regular missile to do it. Okay. Oh, the friendly fire. Oh, no. Looks like one of the fighters fell down while the missile was tracking it, so the missile hit its own units. Oh, yikes. Oh, it's like AoE anti-air, too. Oh, dang. Yeah, that's pretty brutal. Fighters do get a fantastic scout of everything going on over here, though, so that is quite nice. LRPC fire being redirected well into the backline. You gotta be so careful about that. One of those balls hits your E-converters, for instance. This whole area lights up like a candle. Like a firework, really. You can see the explosive radius on this is gigantic. These advanced epic energy converters. More than enough to kill the aphis over here. Not to mention this project going on. Pawn launcher. Sending in the pawns. You'll love to see it. The unit's friendly firing their own, well, corpse to death. Yeah, look at that. This guy's targeting. Oh no, targets himself, and the explosion is immense. It's like an aphis going down. As indeed, it looks like the pawn launcher manages, in the weirdest way, to counteract the barrage. Huh. Not the ending I was expecting. Not at all. Yeah, those LRPC shots being redirected is very sketch. The tank commander has effectively been killed on this low ground, though. I mean, there's nothing else holding on to this right here. The spam gates have been opened. Oh, nice hit right there as well. Commander explodes. Basically, the entire front line pops as well. The aphis remain intact, so that's nice. We can rebuild if we need to. Certainly uncomfy here, though. Hey, the Bulls have finally made it out to play. Just in time for the Thor to make it to the front line here as well. A big army of Thors could be killer. Their EMP missiles can basically shut down any projectile. Or static defense, rather. And you can see how much that epic bulwark does, though. 8% per heat ray blast on the Thor. Not to mention, of course, that its lower cannon is still a tachyon beam. It is the ultimate tank killer. We've also got the epic dragon coming out. No anti-air here whatsoever, so this thing's gonna have a feast. Burning apart this entire composition. Look at it kill. Oh my god, look at it kill the Vanguard. It's like 3 seconds and it melts an entire Vanguard to death. Yikes. Yeah, I think the Purple Commander is realizing suddenly that there's literally nothing to stop this epic dragon. Anti-air trying its very best, but what is it gonna do? He can't, remember, he can't see this geothermal. He's wondering, why on earth does the Yellow Commander not have a geothermal up and running? They're so OP. Indeed they are. Very sneaky beaky like. Oh, Red Commander was just moments away from finishing. Ooh, from finishing their T3 aphis. It looks like they will manage to at the end of the day. Oh, the friendly fire is so dangerous from those. Yellow forces have been overwhelmed, though. It looks like the goblin spam will finally march forward. Onward to victory. Oh, the beamer turrets still stand, actually, impressively. Build power, not so fortunate. No Geo. Yep. That is their genuine purpose. That's their whole reason for existence, is that they're sneaky beaky like. Pawns being launched. There goes the barrage falling once more. Super Karganeth firing away right here. Juggernaut also taking heavy hits. What is that? 1% per shot? Ish. Depends a little on flanking. Super Karganeth going to be a much better defense here. Down goes the barrage. Nice self-decall. I like it. Isn't on time, though. Just barely might not be. Oh, barely manages to shut down that Juggernaut before the self-destruct. Now those barrages are firing away. We have 5 barrages in the back line. I mean, yeah, that'll do it. Super Aphis does come up and running, by the way, so that, I mean, effectively stabilizes the entire energy economy. The Red Commander now with more funds than they really can spend. Will the Super Karganeth be able to punch through the line? The missiles being deflected by the Sanctuary here is hilarious as well. This barrage is putting in serious work. 2.5% per shot. Firing 3-round bursts. Lethal. Meanwhile, the economy back here is continuing to scale. My goodness, the blue team has run away with it. 357% energy advantage. Here go the Epic Dragons once more. How they turbocharged the Epic Dragon's udders to fire lasers that powerful, we may never know. Oh, the Epic Lich was just moments from finishing up here too. What a bummer for Duck Power. Hoping to get that Epic T3 out and running, but no chance. Would've liked to see a D-gun right there. You can D-gun these down. In fact, it's one of the best D-guns you can manage to land. They're super slow, super D-gunnable. Not gonna happen this time, though. The entire pink base is upset. Grunt spam moving forward. Do these do a little bit of terrain damage? Is that why there's spots on the ground? Spots of lava? Yeah, it looks like they very slightly do. Turbo Karg's gonna move towards the southern side here. They've sniffed out that KK-357 might be the weaker link here. Northern side has all but been overwhelmed. We're going for more epic bulwarks. There's those epic Karganeth in a showdown of the century. They can shoot air with these missiles, by the way. That's how big these missiles are. They can ram planes. Dragons are brought low. Something tells me the Karganeth aren't going to have the same issue, though. RPC trying to fire away. It's not going to find any perches, though. Yeah. GG is called. Red team throws in the towel after being overwhelmed here. The AGEO showcase comes to an end here. So the blue team manages to overwhelm their opponent with this epic T3 late game eco production, as well as a solid front line and spectacular use of those fantastic T3 Geos. What a wonderful look at all those. We did get a chance to see all 3, so I'm super happy about it. Let me know what you think about it down below in the comment section, and if you'd like to see it this Saturday during the live stream, let me know about it then and there, or in the comments as well. And I hope you had a wonderful time, and I hope to see you again in the very next match of Beyond All Reason. Peace out, everybody.